All right, what's going on, everybody? You know it is your boy Netflix, your boy 94, aka Malik, back here again with another podcast, talking everything wrestling. Got a brand new guest on the channel today, first time on the channel. I'll let you introduce yourself. You can plug in social media to everybody who you are, and then afterwards, we will talk some wrestling. If you guys have some questions you want to drop in the chat, feel free to drop some questions in the chat. Whatever you guys want to talk about is cool with us. But go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are.
Yo, you can you hear me? I just took my headphones out. All right, my name is you just call me Bird. On TikTok, I'm my main page. I'm at Bird with a Y. That's BYRD WIDDAY. And then on my wrestling page, I'm HB Bird. That's HBBYRD. But yeah, huge wrestling fan, long time wrestling fan. Glad to be here. You know, pretty much it, man. Let's get to it.
So we was talking about off the air. We was touching into it about the WrestleMania title picture. If they do title for title, what do you think the outcome has to be if they go that route?
So if they go that route, obviously Roman Reigns. They gotta go put both titles on Roman Reigns. Mostly because Brock has already been there. Brock done that. If I remember correctly, he held the WWE World Title when they still had the big old belt. But they obviously got to slap both on Roman. So that's the obvious route if they do it.
I'm curious to see what they do, man, because they put Brock in the chamber. I mean, it really has me thinking that he might win. So I'm like, man, is Brock gonna win the chamber? Or is Biggie going? I mean, not Biggie, but Bobby, because I'm like, they just put the title on Bobby. You feel me? But it's like, I remember telling people, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did title for title, because my thing is, like, when they tease it on SmackDown, I'm like, why would they tease it on SmackDown but like not really go through with it? Because they kind of sprinkled a little bit of it. So I'm like, oh, they probably gonna do title for title. But then Bobby won the title back. So I'm like, oh, maybe they are gonna do title for title. But then now they added Brock to the chamber. So I'm like, they probably gonna have Brock win, and then Roman gonna be Goldberg, and then they're gonna have title for title at WrestleMania 1-on-1, which, like, I get it, because they've never done it before at WrestleMania, where it's been both world champions, who fought each other at WrestleMania for both titles. So I get it, be a first time ever, but it's like, I felt like it takes away a WWE title match for somebody else who could use it better. So I'm kind of hoping Bobby wins, and then we get Bobby versus somebody else. But what do you think is gonna happen? If you had to guess, do you think they're gonna do title for title, or you think this is a swerve?
I hope it's a swerve, but I have a feeling they're gonna go title for title. And this is kind of like confusing, because it's just like, if y'all were gonna go title for title, then you really didn't need to put the title on Bobby Lashley just for you to take it back off him, so y'all could do title for title. Like, that was really, like, ridiculous. But, like, I think I had made a video on, like, my little theory, and you had said that I was evil for the theory that I had came up with, because I had said that Brock was gonna win the chamber, and then in that Goldberg match he was gonna screw Goldberg so that they could throw Goldberg into the triple threat match that was gonna be title for title. Gosh. And a lot of people were saying, like, oh, Goldberg only has one more match on his deal, and Goldberg only has one more match on his deal. I saw a video the other day, and they were basically saying that Vince McMahon was, like, basically gonna re-sign Goldberg, basically so AEW couldn't get him, or anybody else couldn't get him. It was just like, if they're gonna re-sign Goldberg, that'd be such a Vince McMahon thing to do, to just throw Goldberg into the match at Mania because he think it'd be a bigger draw. I don't want it to happen, but that's what I'm going with, and I'm hoping I'm wrong.
When do you think Veer will come? Listen, I don't know, man. Your name Veer Mahan, so you tell me. You may know more about that to me, because I went to Raw last week, and Veer Mahan was on the main event, so he was on the stuff before Monday Night Raw aired, the dark matches. So I don't know, man. I don't know when he's gonna come, man. They say they said this like 2 months ago he was gonna show up, but we still haven't seen it yet. So obviously that tells me that they have no plans for him. They don't know what they're doing with him. They don't know where they want him to do. They might as well just put him back with Jinder Mahal. If you ask me, to put him back with Jinder Mahal and build that faction or something, because, like, I never seen somebody who got, like, so many vignettes, and then like he just wasn't nowhere to be found like for months. Like, bro, y'all said he was coming like months ago. Like, is he coming on TV or not, bro? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I don't feel like I don't know, man. Veer is he's just one of them characters. Like he ain't really done much for me. Like just like the vignettes aren't helping. Like if y'all were gonna have him come, I would have suggested that y'all would have just let him be in the Royal Rumble. Like you got people like Shane McMahon in the Royal Rumble, looking at how he did, which is ridiculous. And I'm just like, why not throw Veer in there? Why not have Veer in the Royal Rumble? It's just like it started off now. Yeah. If anything, y'all prolonging it is making me not interested in it anymore. It's like I really don't care about Veer anymore.
Let's see what's second one. Who do you think takes the belt from Roman? Because at this point, honestly, I'm not sure. I could see Rock. I wouldn't mind Seth or Drew either. So, I'm gonna say the person I would like to see beat Roman would be Drew McIntyre. That's who I would like to see be the one to beat Roman. But honestly, if I had to guess, I have a feeling it's probably gonna be Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I would not be surprised if Brock Lesnar beats Roman at WrestleMania. If Brock doesn't win the Chamber, how many matches is he gonna lose? You feel me? Like Brock Lesnar don't lose a lot of matches. I could see it happen. I wouldn't want it to happen because I don't think Brock needs to be the guy to take the belt from Roman. I think it should be somebody else that could help benefit more. But if I had to guess, I think that would be a very Vince McMahon thing to do, is to have Brock Lesnar defeat Roman because he loves Vince. I mean, Vince loves Brock and he loves Roman.
Yeah, as far as I think I made a video about this earlier, but I think the two guys that have like the strongest chance to me are either Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre. And the whole thing with Drew McIntyre is, if they make it Drew McIntyre, they're gonna have to like really like push him more than they did before. Because it's just like you can't just have him take the belt off Roman Reigns and then just have him go back to doing whatever. Like, no, you gotta really put stuff behind him to keep that up, because he just beat the guy that held the belt for damn near 2 years.
Yeah. Let's see this one. This is a good theory right by Robert Blue. I think at the Chamber, Roman gonna pull a Shawn Michaels. So,
in terms of what?
If y'all remember, I think he's talking about when Shawn Michaels cost The Undertaker the world title inside the Elimination Chamber. So he pops up under the Chamber and I guess cost Roman the Brock the championship. I could see something like that going down like that. I could see maybe something scenario like that. But I also think that maybe I hope it's not true, but I was getting a little like what if Brock wins the Chamber match and then he costs Roman the Universal title to Goldberg because he cost him the title at the Royal Rumble. That's something that I don't think it will happen. That was a scenario I was thinking about. Like, bro, like what? How crazy would this shit be? Like, if Brock won the WWE title and then he cost Roman the Universal title to Goldberg in the main event, I'd be like that. I'd be sick, honestly, if that happened.
Then what would they like if that happened? Like, then what route would they go down? Like, would it have to be a triple threat title for title, or like would they just make it Brock versus Roman for the WWE title, and then because Brock won the Rumble, so
right,
if he wins the Chamber and then screws Roman, then he would have to challenge Goldberg because he won the Rumble.
Well, he would be the champion at that point. So I mean, the match is
yeah.
So like Brock would just be the champion now, and Roman would be the challenger. Like he would just be the champion. I don't think it's something that they would do, but it's like when it comes to
then his Rumble win would mean nothing.
Yeah, but it comes to WWE terms, like a lot of things they do nowadays just feel like very meaningless. I'm like, that's probably some bullshit that they would probably do right there just to piss people off. I can see it happening. But I mean, the theory of Roman pulling off Shawn Michaels, it's not a bad idea, honestly. Like it's not something that I wouldn't be shocked about. It depends on the first match tonight, though. I don't know if Roman and Goldberg is going to open the show, if it's going to be the men's chamber match. There's also a women's chamber match too. So I'm not really sure what opens the show. If I had to guess, probably going to be Roman and Goldberg. I think probably that the men's chamber will be the main event. But maybe Roman and Goldberg is the main event. I remember an interview Roman did, though. He said that at this stage in his career, he's either going to be the opening match or the closer match. And he saw that's how it was at the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble, he was the opening match because he wasn't the main event. And then all last year, all the pay-per-views he was on, he was the last one. You know what I mean? So He's either the opener or the closer. So, who do you think could possibly be the mystery woman for the women's chamber match? Who do you see there? The one woman that they
The
haven't announced.
mystery woman. It's probably somebody like Asuka. I hope it's somebody like Asuka.
Asuka I think it could be Asuka, Alexa Bliss, or Bailey. Those are the three. I've heard Lacey Evans being thrown around too, but if I had to pick, I would say one of those three. I think it's gonna be Bailey.
I completely forgot about Lacey Evans. If we're being honest, I forgot about Lacey Evans.
Yeah, she had the baby not too long ago.
She did have a baby. I forgot about that. But yeah, as far as the mystery women's chamber, probably. I hope it's Asuka. I'm a really big fan of Asuka. I didn't really like how dirty they did her at WrestleMania with her streak. I feel like she should have beat. I think it was Charlotte she went up against.
Yeah,
I think she should have beat Charlotte, but it is what it is. But yeah, I hope it's Asuka. I want to see her come back and make some noise.
Yeah, I hope Asuka can get a pretty good push when she comes back. She's been injured for a little bit, y'all, but I think she's probably gonna come back sooner than later than we expect. I'd like to see her come back at some point too, man. So I got we got some questions here I wrote down right here. Let's just get to some of these questions right here. Let's see. Let's go with this one right here. What is one thing about WWE and AEW that you like currently right now about the product?
In terms of for starters, WWE, the whole Roman thing, the bloodline, just his presence and like all of his storyline, like I really dig that. Like I'm a really big fan of Roman Reigns, and as far as AEW, like it's kind of like good and bad with AEW. Like I like the fact that they're signing some of these talent that WWE like clearly didn't want anymore, like Daniel Bryan. Like it's nice to Bryan Danielson. It's nice to see him like having these like really good matches. Like because I knew he still had it in him. Like I knew he could still do it. But it's just
right.
like, yeah, I like the fact that they signed some of my favorite guys. So yeah. What about you?
One thing I like about WWE is I also like about the Roman Reigns factor. I feel like his presence is very important to the company. Some people are getting tired of it, which is very understandable. But I feel like Roman Reigns he's doing some legendary stuff right now we haven't seen in a long time as far as when it comes to championship reigns. You know, I'm gonna make a video on TikTok about that tomorrow about why Roman Reigns championship run is so important to me. And one thing I like about AEW is I like the opportunities that they're giving people to come and express their freedom when it comes to WWE is basically, I don't want to say like a jail, but like, you know, some people don't in WWE don't have certain freedom that other people may have, you know, like certain top guys may be able to do certain things that the undercarders aren't able to do. You know what I mean? And AEW is creating a platform where it feels like everybody's equal. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we all can pitch our own storylines. We all can give out ideas. You know what I mean? Like we all can pitch on the things that we're doing. But WWE is not always like that with everybody. You know what I mean? Like not everybody has that certain type of treatment. And I like that AEW is kind of opening up more of that for superstars, you know, to feel like, hey, you know what, express your creative freedom, express your ideas. Like maybe we can use your ideas, maybe we can use your freedom because, you know, the creative writers may not always have the best ideas. Maybe the wrestlers themselves, you know what I mean? So WWE, you may not be able to express that just because of how strict everything can be for certain people. I just want to hear one thing you hate about WWE and AEW. What's one thing that you want to see change or you think needs to be changed?
As far as WWE, I would like for Vince to just stop giving up on these talented wrestlers so quick. Like it's no reason that Big E's title reign should have been what it was. I feel like he deserved better. I wanted Finn Balor to have another WWE championship reign, but that's never gonna happen because Vince is giving up on him.
Yeah.
Keith Lee is one of my favorite wrestlers like today, like wrestling today. And the fact that they did him like that, like I'm still really not over it. Like I don't like how they give up on my favorite wrestler so quick, like in WWE. And as far as AEW, I feel like as far as like the storylines go, like I don't some of it doesn't really like make sense to me because it's just like, okay, Adam Cole's been there for a little bit, and the only thing that he's really done of mention is fucking feud with Orange Cassidy. It's just like it's Adam Cole. Like you can do better with Adam Cole. It's looking like they're gonna start doing better with Adam Cole because he just basically came out and was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the AEW champion. So we know what his focuses are. So hopefully like all this picks up. But this is like in terms of, I feel like they could do a little bit better with like some of the storylines, especially with like people like Andrade. Like, what are you doing with Andrade? Like, what's
Andrade's pretty much kind of back in the same boat when he was in WWE. Like they're not really doing nothing with
in
him.
the same position. It's just like
Yeah.
Malachi Black is doing his thing and whatnot, and that's cool. But like Andrade, I really like Andrade, and it's just like every time I see him, he just in a suit talking like about nothing. I'm just like, come on now, like y'all can do better. I know y'all can.
As far as AEW, I would like to see the women's division get a lot better. I feel like that's their weakest link right now. They have a really good tag team division. They book their tag teams very, very well. I believe the match of the year last year was the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros in the Steel Cage match all out. That match was incredible.
Phenomenal.
The tag team division is very well. Their world title picture is not bad either, but the women's division, Britt Baker kind of only feels like the only important one, and Jade Cardigan now that she's a TBS champion. But like those are the only two that really feel important. Like everybody else, I kind of feel like it's just there. I like to see them get involved in more storylines and the women be booked better. For WWE, I want to see better storylines, bro. Consistent storylines, and I also like to see a lot of people get a bigger push. And I'm tired of them giving up on people too. You know, like the one release that really shocked me the most, or not shocked me, but that I didn't understand was Karrion Kross. Like Karrion Kross to me was like money. Like definitely. I felt like he had the perfect look as far as size, strength, everything. He had a perfect gimmick. I just feel like Karrion Kross could have been somebody to like beat Roman Reigns. Like I would have believed that. Like he was somebody that I thought could have been a world champion for the company. And the fact they just let him go, like after they just did him dirty like that, like you talking about doing dirty, like they did him like terribly. Like they ruined his push. Like, if there was a perfect way to ruin somebody's push purposely, Karrion Kross was like number one on the list. Like the way they did him was just unbelievable. And I just don't understand it. Like it seems like sometimes WWE will purposely try to ruin people that they didn't create. You know what I mean? Like they didn't create Killer Kross. They didn't get to create Karrion Kross outside of WWE. You know what I mean? So they try to like destroy his legacy or career. That's how they make you feel. Like when they do something shit like that. Keith Lee the same way. You know, fucking Ruby Riott and you know all these people who are in WWE who could have had a lot of potential to be people that Braun Strowman's another one. Like the way they did Braun Strowman, I don't understand it. Like Braun Strowman was box office to me. Like he was money. Like Braun Strowman had a lot of potential to be one of the greatest big men in WWE history. Like I was looking at him like that. Like, hey, Braun Strowman got it. Like he got that it factor, and like the way they did him to me was just like I don't understand it. Like you feel me? Like I would like to see other superstars be created around Roman Reigns because obviously Roman Reigns they've made it obvious that Roman Reigns is going to be their top guy. He's the face of their company. Okay, but you need to have other superstars around Roman Reigns where people don't feel like Roman Reigns is the end all be all of WWE. Like he's not, he's just not strictly the company. You don't want to feel like just one guy is everything and everybody else is just not important. You feel me? Have other superstars around the brand, and then you can have Roman Reigns still be your top guy. They've done it with John Cena. You had John Cena in the top spot, but you still had other guys there like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. You had Randy Orton, you had Batista, you had Edge, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. You feel me? You had other guys there who could fill in that spot, to be in the main events for pay-per-views or WrestleMania, certain here and there. You feel me? Or Raw or SmackDown. With Roman Reigns, and I love Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is my favorite wrestler right now in any promotion. But I don't think they should just focus the entire company of everything just around him. You need to have other superstars around him. That way, if he's going to continue to have a long championship run, he can have other superstars to match up with that people can get into, and you can continue to build other stars. For a brand like Raw, where you can have a top guy on Raw that feels just as important as Roman. You know what I mean? So that's my thing about WWE. Let me go back to let me see some of these questions real quick. Do you think Keith Lee will be the AEW's mysterious signing?
I hope so. I need to see Keith Lee back in the ring. As I've stated, he's one of like, as far as like through both companies, like he's one of my favorites like currently wrestling, like in terms of both companies. So I hope it's him. I hope so.
I think it probably will be. From what I've heard, I think Keith Lee is already set in stone. So I think Keith Lee is probably more than likely the signing. But we'll see. We'll see. So This guy right here, Mark, he's always in the chat. Dolph Ziggler appeared on NXT tonight. Who do you think he could help elevate NXT? Cesaro. Or who do you think could go to NXT and help elevate? Cesaro, Robert Roode, Ricochet again. Cesaro, I think, would be a really good fit in NXT. I always felt like they weren't really doing nothing with him. I've always felt like him going to NXT would be a really good fit for him, just because, the way they book things on NXT is a little bit different, so he can have time to shine and showcase what he can really do. Ricochet could be another cool one. Robert Roode could be another cool one. Dolph Ziggler going to NXT though, I'm sure he's probably going to do something with Braun Breaker to help make Braun Breaker, bigger than what he is when he comes to the main roster. I don't know if you're familiar with the new NXT 2.0, if you're familiar with NXT in the past, but
I am.
who are some people that you think could go on the NXT and help maybe make some other stars down there?
Mainly like this guy said, Cesaro, mainly the main one. I mean, I want the best for Cesaro. I want to see him like do a lot more than he's doing right now. So it's just like him going to NXT will probably be like really good for him and like the talent down there to help like develop them and whatnot. Especially like you throw him in the ring with Braun Breaker, because Cesaro to me in the ring is like really versatile. He's like a great wrestler. So it's just like Braun Breaker could learn a lot from Cesaro, and on top of that, it'll be really good for Braun Breaker. So it's just like mainly Cesaro.
Who's better on the mic, Edge or Randy Orton?
Man,
Better on the mic.
I'm gonna have to go with Randy Orton, mostly because like back when Randy Orton was going through that whole like the Viper thing, and he was like bald, like skinhead bald, like he like I hated him. So it's just like every time he talked, every time he got on the mic to say anything, like it's just like the stuff that'll come out of his mouth, like I just couldn't stand. Like I hate, like he was such a good heel, I hated him that much, like hated him. Like I loved him, Triple H. Like they did the thing where he broke in his crib and like kicked his ass or something like that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, so I go with Randy Orton.
I'm gonna say Edge for me. I feel like Edge is better at storytelling when it comes to being on the mic. I also feel like his promos are more passionate and they feel more real. I can connect a lot with Edge's promos. Edge's promos can really get intense and they can really feel like they hit the core, man. Like I like when Edge will talk in the promo and then he'll get real serious and he'll calm down again and he'll get real serious. You know what I mean? Like Edge on the mic, I think is highly underrated too, man. I feel like he's not talked about enough. When people talk about some of the best wrestlers to ever talk on the mic, I feel like Edge's name should be in that conversation. I really feel like his mic skills are really top tier. Let me see. I'll answer another question real quick. Let me go through the questions. Let's see what we got up in here. What's going on? Do you think the whole reason for WWE releasing all just led up to drop it into the whole brand split thing? And do you think eventually the titles, women's tag titles? So as far as releasing, I know they said that was like budget. I never believed it was budget cut things. Them releasing Superstars, I think, helped increase WWE's venue as far as making money. For the time frame, they just made $1 billion. I think it was the last quarter they just made like $1 billion, some shit like most of company history. So WWE still making their cheese. You feel me? Like they still succeeding as far as making money. But as far as them releasing all these people, man, it's so weird. Like they had a really stacked roster, and if y'all remember, at one point they were paying superstars more money to stay on the roster so they wouldn't go to like AEW. I mean, but now they just like releasing people left and right that could have been so valuable to their roster. So I don't honestly understand it, but I think if they do title for title, Roman and Brock, and maybe be a sign they're going to end the brand split. I can see that happening, and then they'll unify all the championships, which I wouldn't be opposed to. I think now the brand split is kind of a little bit unnecessary because when they first brought it back in 2016, I thought it was much needed because the roster was kind of loaded. They had a lot of people that weren't getting used on TV a lot that we wanted to see used on TV, and we felt like if they had a brand split, it would open up more creative freedom for other superstars to be on the show. In 2016, it did. It was a great year for WWE, I thought, and for SmackDown Live era and that Raw era. I thought they did very well with that first brand split. But now the roster is so limited. The people that they're not using, they're not going to use they're not going to use on a brand split, or if they didn't have a brand split. If the position that Ricochet's in is the position that Ricochet's in, Ricochet is not valued there. Cesaro, same way. Certain guys who aren't being used, or certain women that aren't being used right now, they probably wouldn't use them regardless. You know what I mean? So I feel
Right.
like they should end the brand split and go back to having everybody on both shows, because now if you have everybody on both shows, I also think that opens up more creative freedom for people like Roman Reigns to do more creative stuff, you know, for his championship, or more creative storylines and dream matches that we get to see. I feel like if you had the brand split, it also may increase ticket sales, because now you can pay to see everybody. You don't have to go to pay tickets to see Raw, and you don't get to see Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre. Or if you pay tickets for SmackDown, you don't get to see Seth Rollins. You don't get to see Randy Orton. But now, if they in the brand split, you can see everybody. You can see Randy Orton. You can see AJ Styles. You can see the Street Profits. You can see the Usos. You can see Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair. You know what I mean? Like, you can see everybody. So I think the brand split, I personally think the brand split should end now, just because the roster's so limited and it's not as stacked. So the people they're going to use, they're just going to use. The people that are not being used, they're probably not going to be used no matter what. So
I mean, yeah, like I remember like seeing stories and stuff saying that like Vince, like the reason for like the releases and whatnot were like to make the company seem like way more profitable,
yeah,
because like if you got all those assets just sitting there and like you're not using them, like it's not really a good sign on your company. So he was just kind of like clearing them, because like I heard that he was like gearing up to like maybe sell WWE, like
yeah,
he was like nearing that. But like as far as like if they, like you said, like if they unify the titles, then they're definitely going to drop the brand split. And if they drop the brand split, like again, I personally don't think they should bring it back, because it's just like, what's the point? Like, why do y'all keep you unify the titles and drop the brand split, and then you bring back, like, what's the point? Like, there's no point. You might as well just drop it and keep it that one way. Just keep it so you can have everybody on both shows. I mean, like you said, they're already limited because like the amount of people like they don't use, so it's just like you might as well.
there's people here in the chat. Yeah, I feel like the brand split thing, I just feel like it's not needed anymore. Personally, I just feel like with the brand split, it's just they don't really do nothing with it anymore. I feel like it's just not a thing that's really needed anymore. So
It doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean as much nearly as it used to. Like I remember like growing up watching it. Like I was a huge SmackDown guy, and like
man,
when like like the feeling of knowing that those guys are specifically on SmackDown. Like when the whole Survivor Series thing came, not like when Survivor Series would roll around, and like it actually feels special to see somebody like Rey Mysterio go from SmackDown to Raw to confront somebody and this, that, and the third. It's just like it actually meant something. Now it doesn't really mean much, so it's just like you might as well drop a brand split.
yeah, I agree 100%. It sounds like how they used to do it. Not like how they used to do it back in the day. So let's go backtrack so the people get to know you better. When did you first start getting into wrestling? How did you get into wrestling? Who got you into it? Talk to us about it.
Whew. Like I said, like I really just grew into it. Like my oldest brother, like he's probably a bigger wrestling fan than I am. And like growing up, like he was really into it, which caused me to be into it. Like I used to watch SmackDown and Raw every night it came on, didn't miss it, never missed it. So he was definitely the main reason like that I started watching wrestling, and I still watch wrestling to this day. Uh, he took me to one of the only like live pro wrestling shows that I've been to. It was AEW Dynamite, and yeah, it was AEW Dynamite. The Thanksgiving show in Chicago.
Yeah,
He took me there for my birthday, so like that was really special. And yeah, he was the main reason like I really got into WWE, and I still stick with it. So I'm hoping to pay him back soon and take him to a pro wrestling show, because that was just really something. Yeah, I I I can't really like give a specific date as to when I start, because it's just like
yeah.
I've been watching it all my life.
Remember the first wrestler that your first favorite wrestler when you first started watching? Like the first guy that you really like, oh, that's my dude right there.
My first favorite wrestler, like I really gravitated towards Rey Mysterio. I remember him being like the first wrestler that I really liked. I had like multiple different like Rey Mysterio action figures and all that stuff. I had the mask and the like the pants that came with it for like a little
Yeah.
Halloween costume type thing. Just like yeah, Rey Mysterio was definitely like my first, like the first guy that I gravitated towards.
Yeah, the first guy I gravitated towards when I first started watching was Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was the first guy that I gravitated towards too. When I first started watching, he was still a babyface, so he was doing the whole lie, cheat, and steal gimmick, which was just cool. I mean, it was, and he came out in the low riders and everything. I'm like, Eddie Guerrero's gangster. Like, this guy cool. Like, I like this guy's style and everything. Then, excuse me, he would end up turning on Ray and everything. That's when he crushed my spirit as a kid. I ain't gonna lie, it crushed my soul as a kid. Let's see, if you guys want to ask some more questions, feel free to ask some more questions in the chat. Who was the? Let me see. I got a question in here for you. I'm trying to find it up in here. Who were two wrestlers that you hated when you were a kid? So when you were a kid, who were the two top wrestlers that you couldn't stand? Like if they was on your TV, you didn't like them.
Oh yeah, I already said the first one, Randy Orton. I hated Randy Orton. Couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
Man. Oh man, it hurts me just thinking about how much I hated Randy Orton. And then the other one that I really didn't like was JBL. I couldn't. JBL was a total jackass to me. I couldn't stand JBL.
See, for some reason, I don't know why either, but I never really disliked Randy Orton that much. Like I didn't like him when I was a kid, but and he pissed me off on occasions sometimes. But my hatred for him wasn't strong. You know what I mean? It wasn't very strong. The one person I hated the most was Edge. My hatred was really strong. I did not like Edge at all. And the other one I say would probably be King Booker. I did not like King Booker at all when I was a kid. Booker T was my guy, but when he turned to the King, I'm like, nah, man, this ain't it for me. Like King Booker.
King Booker was hilarious to me when he do the whole pinky thing. That shit used to kill me.
King Booker really used to get under my skin, man. When I was a kid, but Edge was number one for me, man. Edge really
Edge was an ass.
Edge was the one guy that I really did not like when I was a kid, man. He really was haunting my childhood for a period of time. What about who's an underrated wrestler you think past or present? So you can name an underrated wrestler from the past and the present. Somebody right now, somebody that we may grow up on. Who's somebody that you think is underappreciated? Like somebody who you don't get enough credit.
Underappreciated as of right now. As far as present, I go Cesaro. Cesaro should have easily been a WWE champion. Easily. So talented in the ring. Not that talented on the mic. I get it. But still, just based off his talent alone, he should have easily been a WWE champion to me. And as far as in the past, somebody that we didn't give enough credit to, I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank on the past, but I know as far as the present, I had to go Cesaro.
I would say right now, I'm gonna say Bayley. I feel like Bayley is highly underappreciated to me. She's one of my favorite women's wrestlers right now, and I don't ever really feel like people talk about her not being one of the best. Bayley is incredible. I feel like she's highly underappreciated for her craft and everything. I don't feel like people talk about her enough. I don't feel like people talk about her enough being one of the best in the division right now, and that upsets me.
I feel like a lot of people probably aren't speaking on her as much because she's still injured and whatnot. She's not back yet, so hopefully when she returns, all that changes.
This guy wants to know, are you snatching 2K22 when it comes out? What do you think about the game so far? So the show?
Definitely. I'm definitely getting it by the looks of it. I mean, it looks like it's going to be better than the previous piece of trash that they put out. I ended up getting that one. It was cool. I used to just play it so I could play with my homies. I didn't really like the game, but I like it. I like the look of 2K22 so far. Hopefully the My Ride store, the little My Career thing, actually has some substance to it and whatnot. Because in terms of
it's Rey Mysterio too. So
yeah, in terms of the My Career thing where you get to create your own player. I'm really big on those type of things. The whole My Career thing. So hopefully that has something to it. But yeah, I'm definitely getting it.
I'm so happy they brought back GM, bro. I've been waiting so long. I've waited so long for the GM to come back. GM is finally back, bro. I'm so happy. The career mode too. I'm hoping the career mode is valid. I haven't played the career mode in WWE 2K in a long time, bro, because it hasn't been good. So I never really was able to get through it. I do hope the career mode is really good. I'm looking forward to everything else too, man. They got a lot of things. The animations look really good. The graphics look amazing. I'm excited to see what the game holds. Hopefully the game is valid. One thing that I was hoping they would bring back too was Road to WrestleMania. I was kind of hoping to see that back, but excuse me. I figured that probably wouldn't be back since they was bringing back GM. I was like, they probably won't bring back Road to WrestleMania too, but
Yeah,
Road to WrestleMania, I used to thoroughly enjoy a lot.
definitely.
Let's see, what is a match you feel is very overrated but isn't bad by any means? So a match that we think is a little overrated.
Overhated.
Oh, overhated. A match that is overhated.
Overhated. Like people hate it, but it's not bad.
A match that is overhated. Honestly, I would probably say The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. Like I see a lot of backlash by that match. Like for some reason, like I've seen a lot of people say like, if you watch that match in silence, the match isn't that great if you turn the sound off. I'm like, bro, wrestling crowds help make wrestling matches too, bro. Like that's an important part. We saw the pandemic era. Like we saw how bad it was, when we had no fans there. But like
Terrible.
That match is overhated for nothing. Like that's one of the biggest matches and greatest wrestling matches of all time.
I probably have to agree with you on that one. I mean, it wasn't really that bad.
What did you think of Batista as a kid? Was you a Batista guy?
Man, was I Batista? Like as a kid, like I told you, like Rey Mysterio was like the first guy. Like down the line, like I probably say Batista was like maybe like third. Like it was Rey, then it was Shawn Michaels, then it was Batista. Like I always like Batista more than I like John Cena. Like in terms of them, like I like John, but like I like Batista more. And like his theme song.
I was the opposite of that. Batista was cool though. I did like Batista. I even like heel Batista when he turned heel. Through his last run, I even liked heel Batista. Man, Batista was really dope to me. Especially if you didn't get hyped by Batista's pyro entrance too. That entrance was lit, man. With the pyro and that theme song. Oh, that theme song was slap, bro. Like that's
a banger.
That theme song was lit. Batista was one of my favorites. So I will say, I did like Batista a lot in 2005. The first time that I really got into Batista, like, the Royal Rumble when it came down to him and Cena, it really got me into it. But when he turned on Evolution and Powerbomb Triple H to that table, bro, that shit got me. Like, I felt that energy. I was like, woohoo! Like, he was like, I was like, bro, this dude bad. Like, Batista is bad, bro. Like, he just Powerbombed this man through the table, bro. Like, Batista was legit. I also really. I feel like after he got injured, that whole 2006 run, I fell off with him a little bit. But during 2007, his feud with The Undertaker, he really got me back into him again. His feud with The Undertaker was amazing. So, Batista, I do rock with Batista, man. I do wish, though, the one thing I'm very upset is that I feel like they did ruin his return in 2014. They ruined his return a lot. I don't think they ever should have announced him coming back.
Yeah.
I didn't like that they announced his comeback and everything. He should have just been a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble that year. Like, the whole announcement of his comeback thing, I feel like really, really devalued him a lot. I said Jamal and Rosie as a tag team. Favorite rivals of all time? Favorite rivals of all time.
Favorite rivalry?
Give me your top five. It's hard to pick one. Give me 5.
As far as I don't know, man. That WrestleMania rivalry between Michaels and Undertaker, when they eventually like ran it back at the next WrestleMania, that'll probably be my favorite one, just because those are two wrestlers on my Mount Rushmore, and Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler of all time. So like as far as like my favorite rivalry, it'll probably be that one. But like as far as other ones I liked like John Cena, Randy Orton. That was really cool to me. I like the little dynamic they had going on. When Batista went heel and kind of like beat the shit out of Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's up there too for me, because Rey Mysterio is one of my guys.
And he snapped on Rey Mysterio. I remember that. My favorite feud of all time, as far as feud, would probably be John Cena and Edge. My favorite storyline of all time, though, is the Streak versus Career. That's my favorite WWE storyline that I've witnessed. The Streak versus Career, that shit had me hooked, like invested. Like, the Streak versus Career was my favorite storyline because honestly, I really didn't know who was going to win that match. I didn't really know what was going to happen because I wasn't sure if Shawn Michaels was really going to retire or if Undertaker like could really lose the streak. I'm like, I don't really know what's happening in this match. Like, everything everything about that had me invested, bro. I'm like, bro, like I'm so invested into the story, like it was crazy. Like I never knew what was gonna come next. So that would definitely be my favorite storyline of all time. Who's a wrestler you've never been a fan of? Somebody that you may not hate, but somebody that you just never really like got behind. Maybe somebody you just never saw like the potential that everybody you never saw the hype in it.
You saw the hype in it. I don't know. I feel like I've kind of always felt that way about Triple H. Like it's
Oh, really?
like he's cool. Like don't get me wrong, but it's just like I don't know. I've never really been too big of a fan of Triple H. Like as far as like the triple threat match he had with John Cena and Randy Orton at like WrestleMania 24. I remember wanting him to win that match because I didn't want Randy Orton to win it. But other than that, it's just like I don't know. I've never really been like that huge on Triple H.
Really, Triple H. I kind of feel something a little bit. I mean, I do like Triple H a lot, though. Triple H wasn't like one of my all-time favorites, but I do like Triple H. Mine would be Rey Mysterio, though. Talking about out there, like Rey Mysterio was like, I like Rey Mysterio. He's cool, definitely a legend, first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. But I was never like a huge Rey Mysterio type of guy. You know what I mean? Like I never found myself rooting for him a lot. You know,
Right.
The only time I ever really rooted for him heavily was during his little run after Eddie Guerrero passed away to win the Royal Rumble and go on to WrestleMania to become the world champion.
Right.
And that's simply just for for the right reasons for Eddie Guerrero and everything. Eddie Guerrero was one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time too. So it's like, to honor his legacy and everything, really wanted Ray to pull that off. But I was never like a big, huge, like Rey Mysterio type of guy. Rey Mysterio was cool to me, but he was never like one of my favorites. He was dope though back in the day, especially when he used to have that entrance and when he used to jump from there. That was lit. That entrance was different. I'm like, yo, he got a really cool entrance, man. Like, and that theme song, that theme song was. What about right now? Who's the wrestler right now that you may not just be like, like not too big on?
As far as right now, I don't know. I don't know if it's like just the way like the storyline has been like as far like storylines have been, but like as far as like I used to really like Drew McIntyre, but now it's just like like I want to see them do more with him, but at the same time it's just like I'm kind of cooling off on Drew McIntyre. He don't really get that big of a that big of a reaction out of me anymore.
Drew McIntyre, I do feel like some people feel like he was overpushed too. He was a little bit overpushed through his WWE Championship run, which is understandable, but I feel like he deserved that push.
Definitely did.
You gotta to keep people in that top spot. You have to continue to push them in the top spot to make sure they're relevant. You know what I mean? For me though, I'll probably honestly, I would say Becky Lynch or Charlotte. Like I like both of them, but like Sasha and Bayley were always my favorites to me. Becky Lynch was cool. I did root for her, win the titles at WrestleMania because I felt like that was the right thing to do.
Right.
And Charlotte is cool too, but I've never been like crazy about either of them. You know what I mean? Like big massive fans type thing. I do think they're both great though. Definitely both great. First ballot Hall of Famers too. Both are legends for sure. But I never really found myself like being like really big behind either of them. I did, like I said, I did root for Becky Lynch a lot when she was like when the whole man thing came around, like because I always liked Becky Lynch too, like potentially wise, like she got a lot of potential, you know what I mean, like to be a top star in the division. I mean, like if they just push her or do something with her, you know what I mean, like she could be somebody. And once they finally gave her the keys to the city after she turned on Charlotte and everything, and then they started really elevating her to the top. And the whole thing with Nia Jax when she hit her in the face and the blood and everything, that helped elevate her so much, you know what I mean? So I did root for Becky Lynch heavily for that time frame, but I was never like, she was, as far as the 4 horsewomen, Becky Lynch and Charlotte were like my least 2 favorites. Bayley and Tasha were like my 2 favorites.
Yeah. I definitely feel that as far as like them two, like Charlotte is one of the people, like I really don't like Charlotte too much anymore. Just because of the whole, like, I feel like she's way overpushed. Like she's talented, but it's just like, all right, I get it. And then like Becky Lynch, I really started like not to really like her when she came back at SummerSlam and did Bianca Belair like that. Like Bianca Belair is one of my favorites, like in the women's division today. So like the fact that they let her do Bianca Belair like that just really had it like, okay, yeah, Becky is you cool, but it's just like I can't really rock with you like that.
Yeah, I felt that. I think a lot of people felt that way, which they probably wanted us to feel that way, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like they wanted us to have that type of feeling in our hearts just because they probably knew a lot of us was messing with Bianca. And it's like, to have her lose like that, though, I was like, man, that's not valid, bro.
She didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah, that's not valid. I wasn't feeling that. Favorite male and women's wrestler of all time. So you already answered the men. You said Shawn Michaels was your favorite. What about your women's?
My favorite women's wrestler of all time? Not gonna lie, it'd probably be Lita. Probably be Lita.
Mine is Lita as well.
Trish is 2. I'd probably put Trish at 2, but like probably be Lita.
Lita's definitely mine. Male's for obviously John Cena, but Lita's definitely my favorite woman. Sasha Banks is my number 2. She's creeping on number 1 spot, honestly. Like she creeping on that number 1 spot. She possibly could surpass Lita at some point, as far as my favorites. But she
Sasha Banks is really talented, like really wrong. Like to me, the fact that like her WrestleMania record looks like it does is like ridiculous. Because if I recall correctly, she hasn't even won a match at Mania, which is ridiculous.
She's 0-6. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
What's a dream match you want to see happen this year? Could be any promotion. A dream match that you hoping that we get to see.
As far as dream matches go, I kind of wanted to see AJ Styles go up against Edge. I kind of wanted to see that clash because they had the whole little thing back at the Royal Rumble like a couple years ago where they made you think it was gonna happen. It's just like, as far as dream match, I want to see AJ Styles versus Edge.
That'll be mine too. I'm kind of hoping that happens at WrestleMania 38 in Texas this year. Hopefully we can see it. You can only cross your fingers on that one. I want to see, as far as another dream match, I'll go a different route. Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey is one of them that I'm hoping we get to see, which I think will probably happen at WrestleMania next year. That's one of the matches I think we have to get at some point. They cannot just not give that to us. And I'll say Adam Cole versus Bryan Danielson in AEW. That right there is something that I need that
That'd
match.
Be a banger.
I'm gonna need that. That's one match right there. I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need y'all to do that. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need for that to happen. So, Adam Cole and CM Punk too would be another one. That would be up there on my list as well. Let me see. Let me go to a different question. What's your favorite WWE video game of all time?
My favorite WWE video game of all time.
Mine would be SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. I played that. I played that religiously as a kid. Like that was like, I spent so much time on that game, bro. Like, oh my gosh! But the effort I put into that game was crazy.
Honestly, I'd probably go SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. That'd probably be
lit.
That Here Comes the Pain was lit.
That one was pretty lit too. I didn't play that one a lot. I would say 06 and 07 I played the most. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 and 07, like I'm in the house like that, bro. Like the GM mode I was on, like the career mode, like I was, bro. Like I was in that game heavily, bro. Like, oh my goodness, bro. Like I played that game so religiously. Like, why do you think superstars like Dolph Ziggler or The Miz can never get a main event? It's a good question, man. I mean, the answer is simple for me. Is that it's not that they can't get them; they could get them, but the company obviously just they don't value them as those top guys. I mean, right. The Miz has had a WrestleMania main event, which is great. I'm saying he got that under his belt, but
it didn't really feel like his though. It felt more like Cena's than his.
That was more like Rock and Cena, you know what I mean? Because the Rock came back and everything, so he didn't really feel like a big part of that. But I mean, he still got and he won the match too, so I mean, he still got that event spot. But there's certain superstars in the company that are going to be up here, and there's certain superstars going to be here. You know what I mean? The people that are up here are guys like Roman Reigns, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Triple H, Undertaker, etc. Guys down here like The Miz and Dolph Ziggler and people they see that could be good. They're good people, but they're not people that they value to be in their top spot as far as the event attraction. So those guys don't get the top spot because the company just doesn't utilize them that way. They see them in a certain different spotlight. This is where they see these people, and that's how where they're going to be at. And some people can accept that. I think Dolph Ziggler accepted his role. You know what I mean? Like, I think Dolph Ziggler knows his position in the company. He knows how the company looks at him, and he knows what his position is. And some people can accept it. And I think Dolph Ziggler is okay with the position that he's in. Let me see. Ooh. Some of these comments. All right, what about this one? I'm gonna need this one from you. This is a big one. What's your top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time?
Top 10.
No order.
I'm gonna try to see if I can remember them all because I know I put them all in a list in like my notes. So, number 1, I know for a fact is Shawn Michaels. Number 2, I got Jeff Hardy as my favorite. My number 2 favorite of all time. And then as far as like the rest of the order, I'm not too sure of it, but I know I got guys on there like CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena, guys like that. But I know for a fact that my 1, 2, and 3 were Shawn Michaels, Jeff Hardy, and CM Punk were my 1, 2, and 3 favorites of all time.
That's valid. My 5 would be John Cena, number 1, The Undertaker, and number 2. Number 3 would be Eddie Guerrero. 4 would be The Rock, and 5 would be Kurt Angle. So that would be my 5. CM Punk would be my number 6. He's my number 6. He in that 6 spot. I do like CM Punk a lot. I was big into CM Punk when he's in WWE a lot, actually. CM Punk was like, my God, after that pipe bomb, even before the pipe bomb promo, when he was doing the whole Straight Society stuff, like,
right,
he was that dude to me. I always felt like he was somebody who had a lot of potential to be on the top spot in the company, like a top star. But I will say though, Roman Reigns he's creeping down the list though as far as my top all time. Like he's creeping. Like he's more and more I watch his stuff, bro. I just become more of a fan. Like, bro, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he's definitely creeping.
Like Roman Reigns is that dude, bro. Like he's just so valid. You guys want to ask some questions in the chat before we get off here? You guys can ask some more questions. Ask anything you guys want. Feel free to ask any questions that you want. Drop it in the comment section. Excuse me. Who should be on Stone Cold's Broken Skull sessions that hasn't been on? Kevin Owens would be interesting. Kevin Owens would be dope to see on there. I would like to see maybe like John Cena, The Rock. I think would be pretty cool. Batista, Vince McMahon. I think would be cool to see on there.
Yeah, definitely Vince McMahon.
Man would be cool. I would say some of those people right there. I would probably say, if I had to pick another one, one more. I would say CM Punk. I doubt it would happen, but CM Punk to me would be pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that's a big if, not if. Like
they let Chris Jericho be on there, so I mean,
yeah. But then again, Chris Jericho has a way better relationship with
I know with the company
than CM Punk.
What about you?
As far as people on the Stone Cold sessions,
some people you like to see. Yeah, some people you
like to see. Probably Vince. Like Vince is probably like a big one. I want to see. Yeah, definitely Vince.
Vince would be cool. I don't know if you saw the interview that he did with I think it was 2014 when that came out. It's when they did the Stone Cold podcast before the Broken Skull sessions. Vince McMahon was the first guest. I want to say that was 2014, if I'm not mistaken, when they did that interview. This was like right when the network just came out too, I think. Like the network was like fresh and it was like new, you know what I mean? So it was like something that was like just brand new type thing. So the brass ring, the brass ring interview, yeah, that's what it was. I think that was 2014, if I'm not mistaken. That was 2014 when that happened.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I can't recall if I saw it or not.
Probably it was like 2014, maybe 15. It was around that time frame. I remember because that was like he was talking about certain superstars grabbing the brass ring, or some people that he thought could maybe go and grab the brass ring type thing. You know what I mean? So I do remember that interview. If you can go back in time to make one person WWE champion, who would you go with? That's a good question. Who would I put the championship on? Sure, I'm gonna say Braun Strowman for me. Braun Strowman is the answer for me when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Braun Strowman to me could have been somebody that could have been main event like talent. Like I'm gonna push him to the moon. Like I feel like they really missed out on Braun Strowman.
I feel like the same way you feel about Braun Strowman is the same way I feel about Adam Cole. I feel like I knew that if they would have called him up to the main roster, that they would have ended up doing absolutely nothing with him based off of his size alone. Mm-hmm. Even though he's probably one of the best wrestlers like across both companies. But it's just like I would have definitely called him up to the main roster, and I would have put the WWE Championship on him. That and the WrestleMania match between Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, I would have had Shinsuke win that. I wanted to see Shinsuke with a WWE title reign.
Yeah, that one still pisses me off, to be honest. Like the fact that they literally had a superstar in the palm of their hands, and all they had to do was just elevate him up to the top where he needed to be, and oh man, that one I'll never understand like why they never valued Shinsuke Nakamura to where he was at. Like why didn't they not utilize him to be one of their top guys? Like that one, I'll never understand that one. That will never make sense to me. Like, I don't know. I never understood that. That to me I never fully understood that. Like, it never made sense to me. Like, why have him win the Royal Rumble and then go on to WrestleMania? Not only did he lose, but you made him turn heel after the match for what? Like, for what reason? Like, he was one of the most
wasn't really necessary.
He was one of the most over babyface in the company at that time. So that never made sense to me. But. Yeah, we'll go ahead and sign off here, man. Appreciate you for joining. I'll let you go ahead and plug in social media stuff again. Tell everybody where they can follow you and what you do. Make sure you guys give them a follow on his stuff.
Yeah. Once again, my main page on TikTok is Bird with a Y, BYRD WIDDAY. Basically on that page, I just do a whole lot of everything. Try to be a little funny on there and this and the third. I did just make a page specifically catered to pro wrestling. So HBBYRD. So you go follow me on all that. Appreciate you for having me on, bro. Appreciate the opportunity. It's nice to meet people like this in the wrestling community and whatnot. So had a blast, and I just appreciate the opportunity, bro.
All right, make sure y'all give him a follow. Check all his stuff. I got some more stuff coming for you guys as usual. The Jeopardies and all the other stuff I do on my channel for y'all. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. I appreciate you for joining, bro. Always good to talk wrestling. Have to have you back on for something different next time. I do like the Jeopardy stuff, so maybe I get you on to play one of the Jeopardies or something. Just kind of talk around. But you want to bro. Creator, so make sure y'all give him a follow on the social media stuff and stay tuned for some more stuff I got coming for y'all in the future, man. So be safe out there.